are the Democrats willing to sacrifice the Clintons in order to get Trump? Because if you're going to go after Trump in these emails, there's going to be hard evidence about Bill Clinton.
You want to see what real independent journalism funded by the people for the people looks like?
You ever heard a story like this in America?
You're looking at it.
Congratulations for always being somewhere where mainstream media is not.
Flint, Michigan.
See you in Nevada.
Thanks to people like you, we can get the truth. Corporate media, they've been lying to us for years, and you're going straight to the people.
You are the man. I'm glad you're here.
For as low as 16 cents a day, you'll keep us on the ground, covering the important stories the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Jordan. I am delighted to be joined by the political vigilante himself, Graham Elwood, who I have spoken to probably like 4 or 5 times over the years about Jeffrey Epstein. You are not a Johnny-come-lately to this scandal. You have put a lot of time into this, even though you're a comedian. Dare I say, you've even done some journalism on this topic, going through, honestly, kind of already foreshadowing a lot of what's now coming out now. Obviously, the political world is ablaze at these emails that were released. It's, to be clear, they're not the Epstein files. These are emails from the Epstein family estate. But if these emails are from the estate and they're this bad, I could only imagine what's in those files. Let's start with the big emails from yesterday. Now, they say victim, Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. MAGA would say, see, he's an upstanding citizen, Graham. He asked him to stop the sex trafficking ring. But what I take from that, of course he knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. You then have to look at the following email. Epstein wrote, in 2011, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours in my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, I'm 75% there. To me, it seems he's concerned that Trump is kind of cooperating or complicit with the police.
So if we go to this timeline here, specifically to the emails that you mentioned, in 2011, several significant things had already happened. So 2009 is when Acosta was the then Attorney General of Florida and gave Epstein the sweetheart deal when he was arrested the first time. And Acosta, we know, was then put in Trump's cabinet, which was a peculiar thing. So this email makes me go, oh, maybe Trump was giving up evidence against these other people to cover his own ass. And so that the Acosta appointment sounds like a make good on that deal. Like, I'll give you a bunch of stuff. You leave my name out of it. I'll put you in my cabinet. And you have the Acosta connection to Trump. You have also the fact that when Maxwell was on trial in December of 2021, it came out prior to that, it was only known that Trump had only ever been on Epstein's plane once. In December of 2011, what was revealed in the 100 and some pages of flight logs that came out in that case, that he had 4 more flights, totaling 5. And I was like, wow. And when that happened, the media didn't go after him for it. The CNN and MSNBC media that really does not like Trump, and they deliberately didn't go after him because I was like, well, then they know they'd have to reveal Clinton. Like they'd have to, that's sort of this mutually assured destruction. Why this case has been allowed to stay sort of in the shadows, and they keep trying to seal it off. Like, oh, we got Epstein. Oh, he hung himself. Oh, case closed. Oh, we got Maxwell. Oh, she's got 20 years. Oh, we got him. We got the bad guys. It's over. And there's all these peculiar things that keep happening. Maxwell.
Well, I want to bring up the Alex Acosta. For those that don't know what we're referring to, he was a prosecutor in Southern District of Florida. He's the one who gave Epstein the bed and breakfast sweetheart deal, where he could go to prison and leave for his office almost every day.
Get on his jet. He could get on his jet.
Right. And by the way, as part of that deal, a lot of his crimes were then sealed. So, not public. But this that they released yesterday too, I found interesting. It's between Michael Wolff, who's not really a journalist. I'd call him more of like a, kind of National Enquirer or fabulist, but sometimes truth kind of dribbles out of him. And he, it seems, is almost working with Epstein hand in hand, like doing PR for him. Michael Wolff leaks to him that Trump is going to be asked a question about Epstein during a CNN debate. Michael Wolff basically says, let Trump hang himself. But the next part is interesting. You could hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Trump then appointed Alex Acosta. What did you make of that?
That to me, when I saw that, I was like, oh, this all is starting to make more sense, because again, Trump has really avoided the crosshairs of this Epstein stuff until July 7th, quite honestly. And this makes sense. If this is what, and I kind of vaguely remembering that debate, there wasn't any heavy artillery about Epstein thrown at Trump, which leads me to believe that they went for the second option here in that email of, well, let's help Trump out of this, and then he owes us, because that is lockstep with everything that Epstein has ever done. So Epstein's whole model was he'd invite powerful people over to one of his parties either at his, not necessarily to his island at first, but at his penthouse or his place in New Mexico, where the Clintons went several times. And, a butler or whatever would come up and said, hey, rich guy, would you like a massage from a beautiful young woman? The guy'd say, yeah, sure. There would be sex involved. It wouldn't be a woman. It would be a teenage girl. It would be a child. They would videotape it and then say, oh, by the way, we now have videotape of you doing this. This is where Epstein's hedge fund. You have to figure in the banks into this whole thing too, because Epstein had a fake hedge fund. And these guys would making these donations or what investments to this hedge fund that was a complete fraud. And then you've got JP Morgan Chase, I believe, and a couple other banks, Deutsche Bank even, I believe, all helped Epstein sort of money laundering thing. And this is the CIA's handbook as well, which is like, get powerful people in compromising positions. Again, my interview with John Kiriakou in 2019, I said, does the CIA go procure children? And he goes, no. But what the CIA would do is, if they have an asset that they know is a pedophile, they'd they'd let the guy do what he wants to do, or help him, or send him in the right direction or whatever. And so that to me says that email you just referenced is absolutely them going, well, how can we leverage this? So like, we know that Epstein did this kind of blackmail, and it makes sense now when Trump said, gee, when Maxwell got arrested, he goes, yeah, I wish her well. When he said that,
and he won't rule out pardoning her. And it's just come out that his DOJ has basically moved her to, what do they call it? Club Fed. She has, the warden of the prison is working on her commutation application. They gave her a dog and are allowing her all sorts of privileges, to the point where the warden told somebody, I'm tired of being Ghislaine Maxwell's bitch. I also want to get to the timeline here. Newly released emails show Epstein telling Linda Stone on November 13th, 2016, just 5 days after Trump won the election, that he was at Trump Tower. This completely contradicts Trump's longstanding claim that he cut Epstein off in 2004, 2005, and had no contact with him afterward. And here's that email. Linda Stone, I don't know who that is, asked him, you still in Paris? He writes, Trump Tower. Then we move to 2017. Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving together. This is while he is president. This is after Epstein has been arrested the first time for prostitution. And he says, he's such a snooze. Who else is down there? He says, David, Faisal, Hansen, Trump. This is referring to his Thanksgiving plans. Then you move. This, I think, could be the smoking gun. Epstein told House investigators he met Trump and Prince Andrew in London in 2019. The same year Epstein was arrested and, quote, died in federal custody under Trump's DOJ. 2019, June 3rd, Epstein says, Prince Andrew and Trump today, too funny. And recall Prince Andrew's accuser came out of Mar-a-Lago. I believe that's in reference to Virginia.
Virginia Roberts Dupree. Yep.
And Steve Bannon says, can't believe nobody is making you the connective tissue. That's another one. Steve Bannon plays both sides. I want to show one more. Epstein wrote to, I think this person was a former attorney with the Obama administration. You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, New York biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip, referring to Michael Cohen. Trump said he cut off communication with Epstein in the mid-2000s, but now we're seeing Epstein was in Trump Tower after he won in 2016. They spent Thanksgiving, amongst others, together in 2017. And in 2019, importantly, it seems there was a meeting between Trump and Prince Andrew 3 months before Epstein killed himself in prison. And we should also point out, not only did Epstein, quote, kill himself in prison under Trump's first term, but the video that was released from the prison in Trump's second term had, I believe, a minute and a half missing.
There's also, we have to talk about this. This is the thing that never gets mentioned too, is Jean-Luc Brunel was another billionaire, friends with Epstein, friends with Maxwell. There's evidence of them all hanging out together. There's photos of them hanging out together. There's evidence of Brunel on Epstein's island. He was arrested in France. Same thing. And he was just as distraught as Epstein and took his own life in prison. Isn't it so bizarre that these two billionaires just can't live with themselves anymore? So the question here that I have, and looking at these emails, is, are the Democrats willing to sacrifice the Clintons in order to get Trump? Because if you're going to go after Trump in these emails, there's going to be hard evidence about Bill Clinton. So
I just want to make a point, because I think it's important. Might lose me some followers here, because people watch and they're like, focus on Trump, Jordan. Listen, let's not pretend the Democrats aren't complicit here too.
Yeah,
this existed under Obama's presidency, Biden's presidency, so there was no urgency for them to get to the truth.
Nope.
They could say, oh, it's about the victims, but the Democratic Party right now wants to get Trump. They could have done this under Biden. And like you said, there is witnesses on Jeffrey Epstein's island, including the groundskeeper, who has said, yeah, I saw Epstein and Bill Clinton sitting there on the porch. Bill Clinton claimed that he was only on Epstein's plane once, I believe, or a few times. Flight logs show 25, 26 times.
26. Yeah, Bill Clinton said he was only on 4 times, but he was on 26. So we can always forget an extra 22 flights. And then there's also numerous flights where he told, because the presidents get Secret Service for life. And there was times, there's 8 flights, I believe, where he told, because this is, again, a matter of public record, where he told the Secret Service he didn't need them and went on the flight alone. There's also, Hillary was on twice. Bill and Hillary were at Epstein's compound in New Mexico. Numerous witnesses saw them at Epstein's compound in New Mexico numerous times. Again, Maxwell was at their daughter's wedding. So when Epstein got arrested, and I started really covering this case, and I said, oh, because he's already been arrested once before, if he gets bail, then that means the ruling elites, all of his rich people are taking care of him and he's protected. I go, if he's denied bail, then they're going to kill him in prison. And when that happened, I went, oh, wow, he's not even the top guy. This was confirmed by Whitney Webb's interview with Maria Farmer. She said, Maria Farmer, who was trafficked by Epstein, and her sister, said Epstein was, quote, middle management. I've interviewed on my show a retired cop who was on the Phoenix Police Department. My friend Eric Oldenburg was a child crimes investigator. And I remember asking him, I go, if you were the lead investigator on this, what would you be doing? He goes, Graham, anyone that flew to his island, I would investigate. Because let me tell you something about pedophiles. They don't do it once. They don't go for a crazy weekend. He goes, everybody that flew to his island, I would then start investigating what they were doing back home because there's no way they weren't getting kids at home, however they could get it. And with Epstein's connections, it was like, oh, go talk to this guy in this town or whatever, or we'll send a jet and fly you to another crazy party or whatever. And he said, you know, he was on my show saying this thing has been clearly shut down by very powerful people, but now other powerful people are making so much noise. And the fact that some people in the MAGA are making a lot of noise. And when you have people with huge followings like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson, while there's a lot of the stuff that those people have said and done that I 100% don't agree with, I'll give them credit on the fact that they are not letting this go. And my biggest fear, and I said this on my show yesterday, was if this comes like it looks like it's going to come out, like it's really going to come out, and there will have to be criminal charges against Trump and other people and the Clintons, then get ready for a giant false flag. Get ready for, oh, Hamas snuck across the border thanks to the Mexicans and blew up a mall in Dallas, or Trump's going to just push us into World War III, you know, so we're at DEFCON 5 or whatever, and the whole planet is terrified about we're all going to go up in smoke, and that'll get everybody to forget about Epstein. He's going to do, he's been all he's done since July 7th, when Pam Bondi went, whoops, the file's empty. All he's done all summer is one distraction after another. National Guard.
Oh, he's sending the stormtroopers in to kidnap fucking brown people. They're tear gassing children, as we've shown in Chicago.
Yeah,
completely agree.
I've seen this Epstein stuff get shut down time and time again, so I'm a little like cautious about being like, we got him, it's all going to come out. I'm very cautious, but this is the most optimistic I've ever been in terms of, because Trump keeps trying to shut it down and he can't. It's not going away. And what's going to happen? Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna and all the people that voted to unseal the documents, are they all going to slip and fall on a box of knives and all get bad colds? I mean, like, at this point, you're running out of, you can't just have a bunch of people accidentally, you know, hang themselves. So,
and speaking of not hanging ourselves, disclaimer, for the purposes of YouTube, because this is owned by Google, we do not have evidence that Donald Trump committed any crimes or is criminally involved in a child sex trafficking ring. So we just want to put that out there. Now, on a brighter note, Graham, because we're talking a lot of dreary stuff. You know, Christmas is coming, Graham. Did you know that?
Yes, it is.
Or Hanukkah for us Jews. I'll tell you, I have a 6-month-old, and I have played your Socialist Christmas album to my son, and he couldn't sleep because he was so revved up.
Yeah, you can go to iTunes. It's a digital download, and I'm going to have a limited supply of vinyl albums. But really, yeah, you can go to Apple, Spotify, and download it. And, you know, I say download it, share it, put it on your social media, because get the word out there, because guess what? The big corporate media folks, they're not really happy about this album. So I need good folks like your viewers to put this thing out there and spread the word.
We'll see. Thank you, sir, for taking the time. I know there's a big time difference here, so I appreciate it. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, brother. Thanks for having me, man. Hope you're well.